He was afraid of heights on Earth and thus he went into space. And he was the singing astronaut whose rendition of David Bowie's A Space Oddity made him an internet sensation. You get the picture. Chris Hadfield is not your ordinary astronaut. But now he's hung up his space boots and is walking amongst us Earthlings again. He's also on the line for his first terrestrial television interview in the UK.
Commencing countdown, engines on.
To Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, add Chris Hadfield, now the third most famous spaceman on or off planet Earth, and arguably rarer even than a man or a woman on the moon. An astronaut with a personality.
This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade.
Earlier this year, his version of Bowie's epic ballad recorded on the International Space Station went viral. His swan song at the end of his third and last mission to space received 19 million YouTube hits to date.
If you get a cloth dripping wet without gravity and you wring it out, what's going to happen?
While most astronauts have the uncanny knack of making the out-of-this world seem rather mundane, not Colonel Chris Hadfield.
Well, if you keep crying, you just end up with a bigger and bigger ball of water.
His videos answering the public's questions were entertaining.
But before I go to sleep, I got to put on my pajamas, because I have space jammies.
5 months after he blasted off, the 54-year-old returned to Earth and to retirement in Canada. But he's still making videos. This a parody for charity.
I'll admit I was a little disappointed when I saw how few hits they were getting on YouTube.
Chris, did you do the laundry?
Today we're folding clothes here on Earth.
And now a succession of slick videos to promote his book, Meditations on His Life, and how humans should treat the planet that he circled thousands of times. Well, Chris Hadfield joins me, and I have to say, my wife, if she could get me to wear a spacesuit, I would also do the hoovering. But let's rattle through a few questions very quickly as a sort of warm-up. Quick answers, please, from your vantage position in space. Is there a God? Yes or no?
Well, that's a personal decision. You're no closer to God whether you're in space or whether you're on Earth.
Okay. Is there intelligent life in the universe apart from here?
Very, very probably. I believe there is, but we have found no evidence of it yet.
Would you allow a trainee violinist to play his instrument on the space station?
It was a real pleasure to play the guitar on the space station, and I recorded a whole album's worth of music up there.
But the guitar's great, and you're very good at it. But if it was a really dodgy instrument that wasn't very well played, you'd probably say, out.
It's hard to play guitar without gravity. It floats around in front of you and bounces, and when you try and move your hand up the neck, the guitar flies along with your hand.
And is it unfair to say that most astronauts are dull?
No, you don't know very many astronauts. It's an amazing group of people. One of the guys I flew in space with, he walked from Canada to Mexico by himself, wrote a book about it. He's climbed major peaks around the world. He speaks Russian. He's a medical doctor. He's an engineering physicist. And he's one of the nicest guys you ever meet.
But he did walk by himself, didn't he?
No, we had a terrific time working together for many years to be able to fly on board the space station. Okay, so we've had a bit of fun, but there's some serious points as well here. What is your most important takeaway, if that's the right word, from your time in space? And you were out there 3 times, weren't you? I helped build the Russian space station Mir, and then helped build the International Space Station, then lived there for 6 months. I think there are 2 main takeaways. One is technical, and that is we have just invented the technology to allow us to safely and permanently leave Earth. It's an important step in the, I don't know, the 100,000-year history of human exploration around the surface of the Earth. It's an inevitable step of technology, and we're just making it safe enough now on the space station. But there's also the human cultural side. It gives us a way to see the planet as one place, and not just us to see it, but now with the technology that I used when I was up there, to share it, to let everybody have a chance to see our world as one cohesive ball, one spaceship that we're all crew on. And it's a perspective that's easy to lose in your local environment, but the more people that can see it, the better. So The space station serves a lot of purposes, but in my mind,
Right.
those are the two main ones.
So if more politicians were able to go to the space station and look back on Earth the way that you did, do you think we'd have less of a discussion about climate change, for instance?
Actually, I think if there were more people that would take the time to see it, politicians are a reflection of the people's will, whether they think they are or not. And we need as many people to look long-term as possible. It's easy just to look on a 1 year or 2 year or even 4 year basis. But you know, our species has been here for a long time, and we're hoping to be here a lot longer. And it's easy to make a short-term problem that has long-term echoes. So it's really an individual decision. And the more of us that can see the planet that way, the more likely we're to influence the decision makers.
Now, Chris, I gather you've brought your guitar along with you, I think, which is jolly good news. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to play something at the end of the program. There we go. Fantastic. Is that the same guitar you had in space?
No, there's a Canadian guitar up on the space station, a Larry Vey, but
we're running out of time. Give us a tune, Commander.
This is one I wrote with the Bare Naked Ladies for 700,000 students, sang it live.
On solid fuel and wires, turn the key and light the fires. We're leaving Earth today. This rocket's burning bright.